Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with the Tsareena Moveset video guide for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon. You guys have spoken and Tsareena was one of the mons that I've seen, so we will be doing an updated guide of this Pokemon. Now, Tsareena did get a few new toys in Ultra Sun and Moon. It now has access to Power Whip as well as Knockoff, so really actually boosting Tsareena, giving it a strong grass stab as well as an ability to hit the blade. And because Tsareena is in the RU tier, having Knockoff for the blade, Hoopa, Cresselia really helps this Pokemon out. It does have a great base 120 attack, decent or pretty solid base 98 defenses, and then unfortunately after that it's pretty lackluster in base 72 speed, base 72 HP, and base 50 special attack. But having Knockoff and Power Whip in its arsenal definitely makes it a lot better of a Pokemon. Now, before we keep going, I do advise if you guys want to check out any of the other moveset videos, there's a playlist down below. Encourage you to check that out. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitch and Twitter. Stay up to date with me and whatnot. So, the first set we have is the Offensive Rapid Spin set. It can actually function a lot better as an offensive spinner now that it has Knockoff to deal with the ghost types in the tier. Whereas Knockoff doesn't actually knock out the blade, but being able to get rid of the Blades of Violet really helps a ton of Pokemon like Fairy types, for example. Also just being able to wear down the blade, making Pokemon like Snorlax, for example's job that much easier, especially if you're like a Crowlax, or it even helps out Como, for example. Tsareena plus Como, Dragon Dance Como appreciates the fact that the blade losses of Violet, can deal with it with the +1 Earthquake. So we have High Jump Kick, Power Whip, Knockoff, and Rapid Spin. Now, I want to give a big shout out to my boy Flaming Victini as well as Cole49. I worked on with both of them on these sets. So we have Offensive Grassium Z. This can run Fightium Z or Grassium Z, but the idea is just have that nuke in Bloom Doom for Power Whip. Fightium Z also works. This allows you to severely damage Pokemon such as Umbreon without having to play around with Protect, Registeel without having to play around with Protect, just Steel types in general as well as Dark types. Dealing with Pokemon as well as Exploud, Pangoro, Pokemon like that. Bloom Doom gives you that just strong grass type attack, allowing you to deal with Gligar that's about 60-70%. This is like physically defensive Gligar that has its Violet knocked off with your Knockoff. And then you do have Rapid Spin because you do have Knockoff, Threaten Ghost, so you can actually spin a little bit easier. Just an offensive spin set. Now, we have another offensive spin set. This is Life Orb. Now, this set can run Synthesis over Rapid Spin, but it's pretty much the exact same set. It does face competition from Shaymin as a Life Orb grass type, which is why this Pokemon is a lot better if you are running Rapid Spin offensive. Like, otherwise, why use a Life Orb Tsareena when you can use Life Orb Shaymin, which also has utility in Leech Seed as well as Healing Wish. But Rapid Spin is pretty much the big thing. Having Queenly Majesty as well, the fact that it can take priority moves because you can't actually go for them versus this Pokemon is really cool. And that's actually pretty important in the tier as well, because Pokemon like Lanoon, for example, some of them only run 263 speed as their actual stat just to be faster than Hoopa. So this is pretty important. You want to be faster than Hoopa as well, which is why for the most part all the offensive sets are all Jolly. Also outspeeding like Jolly Beware and whatnot, Modest Nidoqueen. So Jolly, for the most part, is a set that is ran on this Pokemon. And again, the big thing that it does have over Shaymin is the utility option in Rapid Spin and having Knockoff. So that's why you want to go Life Orb. You could go Synthesis, but if you're going to go Synthesis, you're better off going with Shaymin as an offensive grass type. Hits harder. In some cases, it hits harder because this Pokemon has base 120 attack, which is really respectable and has great high power moves to abuse it too. Now, next set we have, and again, this was given to me by Cole49. Big shout out to him. It's the Itemless Acrobatics set. Tsareena actually has a pretty good niche in being able to check the grass types in the tier. With Itemless Acrobatics, that makes Acrobatics 110 base power instead of 55. You're able to knock out Virizion, 2 a KO Chestnut, 2 a KO Abomasnow, 2 a KO Shaymin with the 28 attack investment. So it really can function as a check to offensive grass types as well as a support spinner that beats Chestnut 1v1. You have Rapid Spin, again allowing you to get rid of the spikes. Synthesis, so you have that recovery, that longevity. Trop Kick is preferred over Power Up on this set because the 100% chance to lower your target's attack by 1 on a wall is amazing. And the 84 speed investment allows you to outspeed min speed Milotic, or even Milotic that might creep up to 200 speed. So it allows you to outspeed that, allowing you to effectively function as a spinner Maybe for like if you were weakened and like Melodic is coming in with Ice Beam to pick you off, you're faster than it, you can Rapid Spin away. And it's just an itemless support set. And with Queenly Majesty, it's actually a pretty good check to SD Abomasnow because SD Abomasnow, it runs SD, Ice Shard, Wood Hammer, and then either Earthquake or actually Blizzard. So Ice Shard cannot affect you if it is running Earthquake. It doesn't have its best move to hit you because of your ability Queenly Majesty, and you cleanly 2-KO it with the Acrobatics, making Tsareena a pretty decent check to that, as well as a check to Pokemon like I said, Virizion. You take on Calm-Mind Virizion, you can take on +2 Virizion as well. Be careful for Z moves though, and it also naturally checks Pokemon like Zydog in the tier, Zygarde, 10%. So a more defensive variant can be run as well with basically knockoff over Acrobatics and leftovers. The idea is, again, you want to Rapid Spin, so you want to be able to get rid of the Ghost types in the tier. And on these, you're going to be running Impish because you want to go defensive nature. But this is a secondary set. I actually prefer the itemless wall, but I think defensive knockoff is pretty cool as well. Being able to get rid of Registeel's leftovers, Umbreon's leftovers, Chestnut's Rocky Helmet, Deblade's Eviolite, Gligar's Eviolite. So much knockoff can just do for this Pokemon, and just being able to take on this should be 248 because you get more recovery and less stop line. But being able to take on Deblaide and just getting rid of their items is really cool for utility mod, and then being able to Rapid Spin and then having Synthesis for that longevity. Now, Choice Scarf is a really interesting set, but again, having Queenly Majesty means that you don't have to worry about priority. So Choice Scarf is actually a pretty good check to Belly Drum Linoon, since it can't hit you with extreme speed and you guarantee outspeed it. It's also a pretty good check to Swords Dance Gator. I was about to say SD Gator, but yeah, Swords Dance Gator for Ralligator, which is a threat in the tier. Also being able to check a weakened boosted Moxie Honchkrow, like a +2 Honchkrow, like at 50%. And just basically giving you that speed and the added power. Also, like I said, just naturally being able to check Pokemon like for Alligator. So the set is High Jump Kick, Power Whip, Knockoff, and U-Turn. U-Turn is preferred on this set simply because, and again, always go Jolly, but U-Turn is preferred on this set simply because you're a Scarfer, so sometimes your opponent might go out to Pokemon like maybe Bronzong or maybe Deblaide, and if you're not locked in the knockoff or you don't want to go for knockoff predicting that, or maybe you can get off the opponent, or maybe you can get rid of the Pokemon that's already on the field with U-Turn, go for U-Turn. It gives you that momentum with this Pokemon, and then High Jump Kick, Power Whip, and Knockoff are all the next options. One thing to consider, by the way, when going back to this defensive knockoff set is if you do have Heal Bell support or like a Cleric on the team, Tsareena can run Aromatherapy, but I think on this set you don't want to run it. Though it is in the other options, and I will talk about it. One thing to keep in mind is your moves are all high PP. 24 PP on Chop Kick, 32 PP on Knockoff, and 64 PP on Rapid Spin. So if it comes down to like a stall war where you have to actually stall on a Pokemon that can't really damage you itself, Tsareena is good at it because it actually has recovery, it has leftovers, and it has those high PP moves. So I like Scarf a lot though. I like it a lot with hazards. Really nice with hazards. It forces switches. The Gator would have to switch out. It forces Pokemon like Deblaide in, which is again really big for any Pokemon next to it, honestly, like a Gardevoir next to it, like a Calm-Mind Gardevoir, or really just anything, Belly Drum Linoon, anything. It really just forces those Pokemon in. And it appreciates Pokemon like Salazzle, which can take advantage of whatever's coming in on this. For example, again, the Steel types that come in on U-Turn. Salazzle comes in, gets a free hit off, maybe gets a free Nasty Plot off, can potentially sweep. So really like that about Choice Scarf Tsareena. Now, the other option we have is Choice Band Tsareena. Now, Choice Band is pretty cool because Power Whip and High Jump Kick, like I said, are really, really, really high base power attacks. They hit incredibly hard. Power Whip, 120 base power plus stab, whatnot. Knockoff, again, your option of hitting Bronzong, your option of hitting the Blade. Now, Play Rough is your last option because Play Rough on a Choice Band set 2-hit KOs defensive Chestnut, so it gives you the option of 2-hit KO defensive Chestnut without having to run itemless Acrobatics. Allows you to smack Pokemon like Virizion, Pangoro, Machamp, so as well as Como, which might try and set up a Dragon Dance on you, which could actually set up a Dragon Dance on all your other moves. So Play Rough allows you to deal with those. Also smacking Pokemon like Flygon, but Flygon shouldn't be coming in on you anyway because Choice Band Power Whip knocks out Flygon. Choice Band High Jump Kick does a ton of Flygon anyway, puts in range of any priority move, and Knockoff gets rid of potentially a Scarf or any item unless it's like a Z move flag on. So Choice Band Tsareena is another option, just a more fun option, and I do like Play Rough a lot more on this set than the momentum that U-turn does give. I think that the coverage that Play Rough gives is way better than the momentum that U-turn gives, especially because the main switch-ins to Tsareena are going to be Pokemon like Chestnut and the Blade, so Knock Off, Play Rough, it enables you to deal with those. So a few other options it does have. Rocky Helmet can be ran on the defensive set, especially with Chop Kick plus Knockoff. It functions like Taunt Chestnut, basically able to wear down the blade just with the Rocky Helmet. But in this case, you have Knockoff to actually do damage and Chop Kick to actually lower its attack stat. Like I said, Tsareena does have a lot of competition from grass types in this tier. Offensively, Shaman outclasses it except for Rapid Spin, right? Defensively, Chestnut outclasses it because it gets Spikes and Taunt, but Tsareena again gets Rapid Spin, gets Knockoff. So it does have a lot of competition in the RU tier, but it still does have its niche down there. So like I said, a few other options. Rocky Helmet can work. Aromatherapy can work as a cleric for the team, but I think Tsareena really is pressed for 4 moves, and I think on the defensive sets you want pretty much just these 4 moves anyway. So if you're going to run it, and if you want Heal Bell or Aromatherapy support, run Deancey with it. Endeavor's pretty cool on a Scarf set, especially because you can't pick it off for priority. So for example, your opponent has like Lastmon, Registeel, and Tsarena's high jump kick doesn't KO at all, right? Tsarena's like at 12%, and then you have a Pokemon in the back, right, that can deal with Registeel, but if it has too much recovery, it'll beat it. Tsareena can go for Endeavor, lower its HP, bring it down to Tsarena's case, and then, you know, pick it off with the Pokemon after that. So it's a pretty cool tech move that can run. Toxic is pretty interesting that you can run on support sets, but again, they really are pressed for move sets, but you can run it over maybe Knockoff for Chestnut. Dealing with that. And then Z-Bounce can also be used for Chestnut, being able to get rid of that with Supersonic Sky Strike, as well as Virizion, Shaman, Pokemon like that in particular. But that's all I really have for you guys on Tsareena. Really fun mon. Stay tuned for the showcase coming out later today. I also have a really cool showdown live going up at 6 p.m. that I'm really excited for. But you guys can check out the Friend shirt, only available for about 5.5 more days. Link is down below, and I shall see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.